DFS Show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show, where we are looking at a Wednesday 11-game nightmare main slate. We have 4 games at 10 p.m. Eastern Time kicking off. We have teams ruling out all of their starters. SGA already out for OKC in their matchup against Philadelphia. We got teams like Cleveland on a back-to-back. Played everybody on the front leg. Good chance they may sit people here on the second leg. We have Utah. We have Chicago. We have Philadelphia. We have just like Memphis is already ruling out a bunch of players. Like we are, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot to go over on this slate. There's going to be a lot of news on this slate. We are getting closer and closer to the end of the NBA regular season, which means anything is possible. When it comes to lineups, Baylor Shireman scored 20 actual on the Tuesday slate. Nobody saw that one coming for Celtics after Tatum and Brown got ruled out. I mean, now more than ever, you got to stay hip to the news. You got to do your best not to overreact. And then also sometimes you just got to play the board. You said it with the Indiana Pacers the other day. They ruled out everybody. And people were like, well, how many can you play? And you're like, all of them. Just play all of them. And if you played all of them, the exception of Nembhard, you did your.
God damn it, John! God damn it! You can't even get through that one without. You can't even get through that without laughing.
You did a good job. So
you know what? I cashed with that injection of Nembhard, so I don't know what.
Nembhard wasn't a bad play. You just got ejected. It wasn't your fault. I thought I was cooked. We had the 2 early fouls from Ben Mather. I'm like, here we go. Crush spot. Matherin going to sit down. He had a good day. Obi Toppin went for 70,000 fantasy points. Tony Bradley, who I didn't even know was in the league again, almost doubled in that game. I mean, there's again, end of the year when all that value comes into play, sometimes you just play it, right? Like that was Indiana in Minnesota. Not like it was a great matchup for Indiana, and they pretty much all smashed and won that game. Philadelphia went to overtime against Houston. Philadelphia had nobody but the Fighting Grimeses.
They were up 25 in that
I know.
Game.
So it's just like, we do our best here to break it down for you. We're going to highlight the matches we think you should be playing. You got to stay hip to the news. We're going to be in the Discord like we're always in the Discord, letting you guys know, the updates and the guys we're comfortable playing with. But your DFS lineups from like now and for the next month are going to have nights where they look gross. And you're like, I'm playing 4 guys under 4K. Like, what am I doing here? And they're going to go for 10X because that's just the way the world works here. This is an 11-game slate that has Jokic at 12.9, Luka at 12.5. They did us a favor, honestly, ruling out the rest of those guys. Cade at $9,900 is like your other play. Towns are the worst defensive team in the NBA in San Antonio, $9,900. Like there's going to be decisions that had to be made. You were frustrated with the Pacers because you turned it into a stars and scrubs night. And in the end, Cade and Luka didn't really do what anybody thought they were going to do. Again, you were fine. You still cashed. I played Jaren Jackson Jr. He sucked. But I mean, like, it's just where you're going to go. Your lineup builds are going to be interesting for this slate.
Yeah, I mean, the Cade thing obviously wasn't his fault. He went nuclear in the 30 minutes he played, but he didn't play the fourth quarter because they were up by 100 points against the Pelicans, who only got worse news as the night went on when Trey Murphy was ruled out for the year. So it went from bad to worse for them. So I can't be mad at the Cade one necessarily because it is frustrating, obviously, though, because you're right. I messaged you being like, damn, I liked my lineup. And now I played the board and I think that's one thing. And it's what I've harped on a lot this year to you. It is very hard to predict a blowout in the NBA because the NBA is so talented. I think it really, sometimes we lose sight of how good these players are. And a lot of the backups can be because a lot of the backups and the third stringers are playing for their lives, playing for their careers to continue. So yeah, sure, Halliburton, Siakam, and so on and so forth are in the lineup. Everyone else behind them is basically not guaranteed a job,
Right.
like for long term. So I think sometimes, that is something we lose sight of. So playing the board is the best scenario. It worked on Monday. It didn't work on Tuesday for the most part if you played Charlotte, right? Like
Yeah.
it worked in a lot of it. Like Baugh, Seth Curry, Daquan Jeffries worked. Mark Williams didn't. And that's sometimes what's going to happen in those situations. But if teams are just ruling a lot of guys out, you really have to consider it as like, all right, like I know this team A is much better than this team.
Yeah.
But they are going to play really hard because they want to keep playing in the NBA long term. So, it is something I think to consider when.
And you check me on that a lot too, where you're like, well, we got to play this guy. I'm like, yeah, but that guy kind of sucks. And you're like, yeah, but honestly, it doesn't matter because he's $3,200. So, like,
and at the end of the day, like those players, Seth Curry was $3,000 tonight, had 21 actual points.
Yeah.
Because he just made a bunch of threes.
Yeah.
That's what everyone can do in the NBA, right? Like everyone can just go out there and if you're getting extended, you can just make a bunch of threes. I know I'm picking a guy that's top 10 all time. And
I was going to say, Seth Curry has a track record of actually being an actual scorer in this league.
Salute to Seth Curry. I'm just saying, like, that was the most immediate answer.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like it is a situational thing. And there are going to be times where it doesn't work 100% of the time. Like if Indiana doesn't have anybody again, and not saying they will, not saying they won't, because their official injury report, I don't think is out, or it like might just be Halliburton and Siakam. But like, it might not work out next time. But so you still got to look at the board and take what it gives you sometimes.
Agreed. All right, so that long sort of quick conversation over that we'll have probably many more times throughout the rest of the year. Let's get into the slate again. Luka is 12-5, gets his matchup against Denver. He did not play in the Denver matchup last time. That was the Austin Reeves game. Luka 62, 71, 64, 61 the last four for him. Hasn't really shot the ball well in 3 of those 4 games. And yet his ability to fill the stat sheet, as we know, and more recently, those free throw attempts really helping him out in getting the production that we need out of him. Again, 12-5 will decide of whether or not we go the Luka or the Jokic route, if we go there at all. Cade against Miami, $9,900. There were games that on a slate like this where we just cross off. Is Miami generally finds themselves being victimized by the cross-off game? Do we think Cade against Miami is worthy of a $9,900 consideration here?
This is such a gross game, but Miami is. I heard a stat the other day that they are almost the worst team in the fourth quarter in the history of the NBA during this 10-game losing streak they're on. They're just blowing games left and right. They got blown out by the Knicks again the other night after leading early. You can do it. If I'm spending up, I'm going to Luka. I think the night that Luka makes shots, we saw it the other night, he goes for 70. That's just what it's going to be, especially without LeBron. They run a smaller lineup. Jackson Hayes is big, but they run typically a smaller lineup. Luka is selling out for rebounds. I mean, you see it every night. Not that he didn't in Dallas, but there were more consistent, reliable bigs in Dallas. There are not those things here. So love Luka at 12-5. Can get to Cade at 99. Not going to hate it. But 217 implied points. Miami's lost 10 games in a row. It's what it is. They play slow. Just not fun.
Is Bradley Beal in for the Suns in this game?
Bradley Beal is already ruled out. Wow.
I feel like I've been touting more Phoenix lately than I like $9,200 for Devin Booker versus Chicago here. Feels like a spot. 10 p.m. game, get a little late night action there as well. Game total here 236. Phoenix is a 7-point favorite. 236 is tied. Anything higher than 236 on the board? 236 is a slate high, tied with the Wizards and Jazz. What a game. And Memphis, Portland.
What a game.
Yeah, both of those games also.
Hey, salute to the Wizards. Salute to the Wizards. They've been better lately.
That's true.
Ish. They got blown out the other day to not prove my point properly, but they have been better lately.
Yeah. They gotta get Champagny back in that lineup, you know.
Yes.
All right, so Booker at 92. I'm in. Right, I'm down playing some Booker at $9,200 here. We'll see what happens with Cleveland if anybody sits. Quentin Grimes, story of the day.
Just got. I mean, yeah.
You've now you've said the last few slates that you're not paying it. If he beats me, he beats me. He's been whipping you.
Dude, I'm getting my ass kicked.
All right, he's 8,600 versus a Thunder team that's sitting everybody, coming off 76 fantasy points. He was supposed to be limited. He's unlimited at the moment, you know. So
he's Mr. Unlimited.
Exactly. How are you paying $8,600 for Quentin Grimes here against the Thunder?
8,600 for Mr. Unlimited. I mean, dude, I don't know. I don't know. I should keep going with this. I should just keep saying no, so eventually I'm right, and I can sit up here and be like, "Ha!" But I'm not sure I'm gonna be right. I'm not sure. Because that was a fully healthy Houston team.
Yeah.
Philly on a back-to-back on the road.
Mm-hmm. And he cooked them.
On the road in Houston. Like, regardless of Amen Thompson being in and out, Houston is a very good defensive team. Like, just very good. They're back to being 2
before Dallas.
He was with the Knicks and the Pistons.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Jesus. Like, this guy was just chilling on benches for 4 years. Like,
dude, there's no, like,
he was a first-round pick, wasn't he?
First-round pick for the Knicks, yeah. I mean, there is, like, has to be some really mad front offices and, like, looking at their talent evaluations being like, guys, we had this.
If you're the Dallas owners, you're not firing Nico for the Luka trade. You're firing him for the Quentin Grimes trade.
Yeah, I mean, that's looking way worse. We've talked about it. In the moment, like, contractually, it made sense. Now, Quentin Grimes, still contractually, they're still going to have the better option, Dallas, because this guy's going to get paid.
Yeah.
This guy's, dude, he's going to win. I'm calling it right now. He's going to win March Eastern Conference Player of the Month.
Yeah.
Book it.
Yeah.
Book it. He's winning Eastern Conference Player of the Month. Doesn't matter how many games they win. He is winning Player of the Month. And it's a crime. Whoever the voters are, throw him in jail if he doesn't.
If you're Philly, do you just sign Quentin Grimes and let go of that bum Paul George? You know, just get rid of him. And
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
Let's do Paul George. All right, so Quentin Grimes, $8,600 is there.
I should say no. I should say no to keep up the bid. By the way.
Yeah, that's fair. No. Halliburton will see $8,600 against Dallas. Giddey, according to Billy Donovan, is going to play here. Expected to play. Will suit up, likely. Do we get full minutes, Giddey, after missing a couple of games here? They could use him. He was ridiculous. Phoenix is also bad. You know, guys like these are making you think, like, why do I have to pay up for Luka or Jokic when I have Giddey going for 65 and Grimes going for 60? Like, what's the point? You know?
My guess would be conservative minutes, but he's only missed a week, a little over a week. So I would say conservatively, a projection, I would probably put him as like 30 minutes. But that's, again, I'm being conservative.
Yeah. In 28 minutes, the game he got hurt, he had 50 fantasy points.
Yeah, and then this is an elite, and it's an elite spot. So the only thing I would say, Phoenix is improving on that end because they're actually playing Ryan Dunn. and Oso Ighodaro. Like those two players playing are better than the other players that they have playing, and thus Phoenix looks slightly more competent.
Sure.
But also you look slightly more competent when you play the likes of Toronto.
Yeah. Again, we'll see what happens with Garland here. If like Donovan Mitchell sits and guys sit and Garland plays, he's been really good in those situations. Kobe White continues to be really good. He could be the one drawing the Ryan Dunn defense in this game, though. So
yes, for sure,
a little bit too much there. Orlando again, probably a spot where we, generally look to cross off the list here. But I've been yelling Jalen Green for a few slates here, and he keeps on just destroying. $7,900 for him. Like, what do we think in this mid tier? Is there a go-to play for you?
Definitely not Quentin Grimes. Halliburton definitely in play. Giddey is fine in tournaments. My guess would be Mitchell would be the one to sit because he had been dealing with the groin injury.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll see. We thought that last time, and then they played him back. They played everyone back on the second leg of a back-to-back. But my guess would be Mitchell. He'll let us know, or he won't. Right? We'll have the noties on the Wednesday slate. I think Kobe White's fine. See that adjustment on his positional eligibility? That kind of sucks. Shooting guard, small forward. Now we're back to point guard, shooting guard. That kind of stinks. Because now the Bulls have
Giddey comes back and he somehow gains point guard eligibility.
Now we have. And what is Trey Jones a power forward now? Like because somebody's we're all playing point guard. Okay.
Yeah.
Murray is solid if Jokic doesn't play, but obviously if neither play, we are just simply clicking the button on Russell Westbrook. That would be my answer. If because him and Aaron Gordon were incredible. I know Russ went only 5-18, but that doesn't matter. He had 16 assists. Yeah. And Aaron Gordon after the game, I don't know if you saw, he's like, body's feeling pretty good. That's when Denver's scary.
Yeah.
When Aaron Gordon is that like connector. But if anyone's out, Russ is immediately like plug and play.
Sure. I agree with you. Again, big slates of huge player pools here. Simons, McCollum, Van Vliet. Got the San Antonio plays. I guess we'll see who plays for Utah. As of now, it seems like they're relatively
Walker Kessler is out.
Yeah, but like is Clarkson in?
Walker Kessler is out and John Collins are out, and then a bunch of like their ancillary pieces are out, but everyone else is off the
injury. All their guards are in, and Lauri Markkanen is in. So as of this recording.
Yep.
Brandon Williams, 5,700.
Okay, so here's I was waiting to get to Brandon Williams.
Yep.
I think this is a definite sit game for Brandon Williams.
Okay.
6 games left. Kessler Edwards has 2 games left. Okay, don't be surprised if we get a random Kessler Edwards, or they just let Kessler Edwards like
play it out.
Thank you, but
his AD's in the G League right now, getting his reps. So
do you know who else was in the G League with AD?
Nope.
Jaden Hardy.
Okay.
And Kai Jones.
Okay.
We're both practicing with the team, with the G League team. Because
they call them up so they could practice together, sort of deal.
Yeah, so when a team has off, I was listening. When a team has like off, they assign them to practice with the G League, and then they get immediately called back.
Yeah.
There is reports that Kai Jones and Jaden Hardy are going to be available for this game.
Okay.
My guess would be Brandon Williams sits to prolong his games. Because if Jaden Hardy is available, you at least have enough bodies to play. And you try to keep Brandon Williams from running out of all of his games.
Where's Jaden Hardy price at? Jaden Hardy is
4,400.
4,400. That'd be a spot potentially.
Yeah, so they started Williams last game.
Yeah.
My guess would be they would start Dinwiddie, and then Jaden Hardy would be the guy at like the guard. They're like one guard off the bench.
Sure.
But we'll see. But that would, if Brandon Williams plays, I have interest. I'm just more so like trying to play this out as like what I think is going to happen.
We definitely run back Numbard if Halliburton's out again. He was
Definitely
really good in that game. He got ejected.
Yep.
So McBride keeps actually being pretty solid with no Brunson. I mean, bad matchup versus Miami. I mean, they scored 116. He played 29 minutes. He had 22 fantasy points. So now it's San Antonio. You could probably get there.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Washington plays.
Yeah, Jordan Poole is doubtful.
Yeah, doubtful. So Carrington here.
Yes, this is going to be interesting because when we were doing our draft, I was like, "Yo, Justin Champagne's not starting."
Yeah,
and then they started $3,500 AJ Johnson. He played 35 minutes. He wasn't great, but he started. This is now the third game in a row. He was the Bucks' first-round pick that they acquired in the Kuzma deal.
Okay.
So they essentially have 4 first-round picks on their roster this year, right? Because the 3 the Washington took plus AJ Johnson. If they're going to start AJ Johnson, I think you almost – because they're down Middleton, he's out. They're down Marcus Smart, he's out. They're down basically confirming Jordan Poole and Brogdon. Corey Kisper's done for the year. And Keyshawn George is also listed as questionable. Washington's they're going to have enough guys, but they're going to play AJ Johnson as many minutes as he possibly can play. So I agree on your Carrington call, because I think just given what their roster is going to look like, he's going to play.
Yeah.
But I also, and he's probably more contrarian than AJ Johnson ends up being, but I do think AJ Johnson looks really good at $3,500, especially if he starts.
Sure. Again, you have the Philly guys down here as well. Alvarado started the second half of that game, was not obviously good. But if he starts again, would you give him a look?
If he starts again, I would give him a look. And reason to think he would, now that they're also down Trey Murphy, but who knows?
He doesn't necessarily fit the Murphy replacement build, but they just slided McCollum, I assume.
That would be my guess too.
We are all jacked up to play Scottie Pippen the other day. He gets ruled out. So we had Luke Kennard. He was okay. If Pippen plays, I would still go back to Scottie Pippen at 48, but obviously if he's out, you play Luke Kennard again.
Yep. Yes, on both fronts.
Ty Jerome would be the sit hero here if someone sits at 45.
Yep, you would.
You were correct the other night. They did not start Tyus. They just played him all the minutes.
They did. I was correct, and also I was incorrect because he played all the minutes. Gillespie started. I assume they just do the same thing, right? Gillespie starts, and Tyus still plays more minutes.
And now everybody would just play Tyus instead of Gillespie instead of what they did last game. And then this time,
Gillespie plays all the minutes. I mean, I don't think it's the most appealing situation anyways, especially when you have AJ Johnson at 35, you would just play that.
What do we do at OKC here? So they're all out already.
Except, Chet's in, Hartenstein questionable. Cason Wallace is he's questionable, but he would probably be the guy here.
Yeah.
We've done this before.
We have.
Except Chet. Chet ended up getting ruled out in that game, and then this was the tanking game that they got fined for, and they won. I mean, Cason Wallace has been really, really good. If Cason Wallace were to play, anytime he's been super extended, he's basically smashed. So I'll probably look at Cason Wallace.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins. All those guys would be.
And I'll throw on the other side of that matchup, Jalen Hood-Schifino coming off 31 minutes and a second straight game he's been over 20 fantasy points. He just shoots, dude. He's a high volume shooter. So
it was the Pacers game that he first tanked you on, though, right? Was the first, and you were like, man cooked in the G League, gonna ride him high, doesn't get the minutes, and then bounces back the next 2 games. So to your point,
exactly
getting a bit more comfortable, and he's firing away. So, and no one will play him.
Nobody would play him.
No one's gonna play him. Anybody else here at point guard? Again, 11 games, so plenty of players.
Yeah, and we're just like sifting through the situations that are absolutely disgusting.
Sacramento, did the Levine get out?
They came back. They came back in that game. They already ruled Sabonis out.
Okay.
I think he's the only one on the injury report.
Okay. I was gonna say because Keon Ellis would be down here if one of those guys are out, but if they're gonna play, then they're gonna play. All right.
It feels like a big. They wouldn't do the Keon small ball lineup because they're going against Cleveland, but I guess it also depends on what Cleveland does with their ins and outs.
Truth. Edwards $9,400 gets the Pelicans here. Desmond Bain $93. We talked Booker, and then Austin Reeves is $9K. The Luka quote afterwards, like all this guy does is score 30 points. I mean, he's been good.
That sparked a massive debate on Twitter today. Did you see it?
You did?
And no,
about PvP?
No, but that nobody cares.
No.
PvP sucks.
Sure.
It actually, I think it started on First Take. They said Austin Reeves is the best third option in the NBA, and I swear that's all I saw on Twitter today. I just saw who it was Derek White, Evan Mobley. Like, dude, it just didn't end. It was just a three-man weave between Reeves, Mobley, White. Reeves, Mobley, White, like over and over again.
Is White even the third man when Porzingis is healthy?
Yeah, but I would say just by default, because Kristaps is not healthy ever, that Derek White just by default has become the third guy.
Yeah.
KP can, if he plays 70 games in a season, he can take the crown back.
Here's the problem. Not even the problem. We don't need to go too deep into this debate. Reeves is balling out right now as the 2, not as the 3.
Correct.
Derek White balls out as the 3 when Brown and Tatum are both on the floor. So,
and Mobley does too.
Yeah, Mobley
with
does.
Mitchell and Garland.
Yes, and I would say there's a closer debate on Garland versus Mobley as who the 2 is.
Sure.
But yes, Reeves right now is not playing the 3; he's playing the very clear 2.
But even in the Mobley Garland debate, it still works because like Garland is Garland is still great.
Yep, agreed. He's been awesome though. So 9K for Reeves in this spot against Denver feels like a green light. Special here. A lot of these guys all in really great spots. Bain versus Portland.
Yep.
Bain 61 fantasy points. I know you've mentioned the numbers favor Jaren Jackson Jr., but for that to work, Jaren Jackson Jr. has to stay on the floor.
He does.
And he does. He hasn't been. So, in those situations, Desmond Bain's on the floor by himself for half this game, and he's cooking. So
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So $9,300 Desmond Bain against Portland. Great spot. Again, Anthony Edwards the other day when he was just the chalk of the chalk, smashed against Utah, overtime game, smashes against Indiana, gets the Pelicans. Good chance he smashes. I don't know. Close your eyes, click 1, play 2. Giving you reasons again not to play Luka or Jokic if you just play a Bain Booker Reeves combo for like 120 points.
Yeah, that whole tier. I think Reeves up. There's no wrong answer because even Ant has coming off like some massive games lately. Took 20 free throws last game against Indiana. I mean, it's hard.
Missed all of his threes tonight.
Missed all of his threes. Played 41. Like any of those top 4 guys, you can sell me on. They're all great.
Is there a coincidence that we're getting Ceiling Edwards again when Donnie DiVincenzo's back to playing big minutes?
No, there's not.
I kind of unlocked him earlier. Wagner's got shooting guard eligibility now.
That's a new one. Yep,
that's a new one. I'm not going to play it, but
Nope.
After that grouping, I don't know, Vassell, if you want to play that matchup against the Knicks.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good. Really, I would say
unexciting.
Safe at the price. Yeah, much more exciting when he was low 6K range.
What is this? Doubtful. I was gonna say
they're all doubtful out. They're all doubtful out.
Again, San Antonio, Sexton with the guards are healthy. Shaden Sharp, 6,400. 25 minutes randomly.
I'm gonna throw a name out there that I don't usually mention. It is that guy right there.
Yeah, figured as much.
Objectively, it's a great spot.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to ever, because you even just look at the numbers, and I'm gonna probably talk myself into playing a lot of Towns. I haven't even looked at the price. I don't know what Towns' price is.
My initial gut reaction was Towns and OG.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a really solid duo.
He's scoring, right? When
Mikhail is really scoring the basketball right now. Which he can. He can.
6 first-round picks, you better be able to.
6 first-round picks, you better be able to. And he has had some really high ceiling games this year. Obviously, I think a lot of people would look at it and be like, this has been a disappointing year for Mikal Bridges. When you factor in 6 first-round picks, Knicks haven't beat a good team basically all year.
He's averaging 17, 3, and 3. I mean,
and that's a solid year for a third option or fourth option on some nights, right? Like realistically, 17, 3, and 3 is but like, again, you said it, 6 first-round picks for this guy. Yeah, that's a lot. But for what it's worth, 25 and 29% usage rate in those 2 games that he goes nuclear in. And the Spurs are the worst defensive unit in basketball. So,
and the price is okay, right?
And the price is okay. 23% in the Golden State game. So he's had 23% or higher in 3 straight games in terms of usage.
Yeah.
If that's
31.5 is 5x. He's gone over that, basically 5 straight games.
Yeah. And
I don't think anybody's going to play him.
I'm probably in agreement. I would like to see the ownership and how quick people are to how bad the Spurs have been defensively.
Sure. It's just an 11-game slate, and I feel like bias goes against Mikal Bridges for how bad he's been. Plus, like I said, I think more people play Towns if they play Towns, or they go to OG because of the eligibility. Now Bridges has small forward as well, but all right, you got that there. Again, I would love to play Clarkson. I just don't know what Clarkson's going to play.
Yeah,
it's a really great spot for him there. I mentioned Nembhard, McBride. Horder was good.
He was.
Giddey could be back, so maybe that knocks him down, but Horder was good in that game.
He was.
Again, Matherin, if everybody's out, you just go back and you hope he just doesn't get early. I mean, he fouled out of this game too, 35 minutes, but
he was good. He was good regardless. I would go right back. I wouldn't have a problem going back to that either.
I agree. Value shooting guards? Anybody? I mean, that we didn't highlight: Hardy, Joe, Wallace. I guess Bruce Brown.
Yeah, I mean, they are another new eligibility. He
got ejected too, so
he was absolutely atrocious. Got ejected. It was just all bad for Bruce Brown. But if he is starting, obviously we're at a point in the season where the Pelicans. I know they want to play Kelly Olynyk and Bruce Brown, and they went out of the way of acquiring them and whatnot. Why are they playing them this many minutes? I don't know. Play Jordan Hawkins, but yeah, I mean, if Bruce Brown's in the starting lineup again, which everything points to him being there, then I don't mind it.
Okay. The other Champagny got 29 minutes. You've kind of been on this.
He did.
Minutes are on the rise for Julian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, no, yes, that's Julian. Yes. No, you nailed it. No, you nailed it. Julian.
I'm going to have to get some sticky notes on my computer that says Julian Spurs, Justin
Washington. Yeah. There's no context clues either.
Yeah.
Yes, Julian.
They just say J. They don't say the full
I know. Well, they can't even go JU because that one doesn't even work either.
Killing me, man.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, dude, $3,800 now too. Price came down a little bit.
Yep.
Not terrible. Did Vince Williams get an extra run? He did not.
No, and possibly Aldama
back
too. So,
all right. Anything else?
Anything else? I did have somebody.
Are you done with Gillespie, even if he starts, or would you play him if he started?
I don't think we need to go there.
I agree.
But I still think they're probably, hey, look, this lineup works. Let's do it again, right? It's like Jordan Hawkins, if he were to start, I think that's definitely on the table, just given where they are. He was terrible last game. We've done this with Jordan Hawkins before.
Yeah.
We've also seen Jordan Hawkins like really fill it up when he's making shots. When he comes out and makes his first couple, he is like super high ceiling offensive player.
Sure. Then obviously if Cleveland sits, like Merrill would be in play and things like that. All right, small forward. Zion's 92. Again, they just keep getting worse and worse, but $9,200 for him there. Josh Hart, 8K.
Yeah, coming off the triple double after everyone saw him and Thibodeau get like mad at each other. I think this is a great spot for Josh Hart. It's one of those, like, I don't know if it necessarily is like such an improvement for him offensively, because like he's not just suddenly going to go out and take 20 shots, but yeah, I'm good getting there.
Sure. Then I mentioned OG already. You get not OG's greatest game versus Miami, but before that he was cooking 45, 41, 55. Why I said I liked OG more than Bridges at this moment is he's also just gives you the other stats. So like when he scores, like he had 23, 24, 23, you got these ceiling games, which have been bigger than what Bridges have been giving you, because Bridges is only scoring right now. A couple of rebounds here or there, but you're getting some elite stock upside in this spot here for OG. Obviously he's a little bit more expensive because of that. But I do like Anunoby here at 7K.
Yeah, you go through these scoring ruts with him. He's done that like all year. Yep. You think he's just like consistently going to keep scoring, and then he doesn't score, and you're like, oh, right. That's OG Anunoby in a nutshell for you.
True. Between them was Denny. Denny 27 minutes against Washington, because who knows?
They did blow him out, and that game they just stopped playing. I think Denny didn't play the final 10 minutes. Yeah, he didn't play. Like Shaden Sharp didn't play the final like 15 minutes of the game. Anthony Simons only played 23 minutes. They played Scoot 31. They played Chris Murray 37 minutes. They just didn't play. It was a blowout. I'd go back to the well. It's a great spot for him.
I agree. All right, where are we going next here?
MPJ. Yeah, he was great.
Guys are out of the lineup. We talk about it all the time. He is a good player. The double doubles, obviously, with Jokic there helps. When Aaron Gordon's out, he gets more rebounding opportunities. Both of those guys were back in the lineup. Like, you downgrade them a little bit. Obviously, you have to. But if one of them sit, if both of them sit, like, this is a great spot for Michael Porter Jr.
Yep, it's another spot that you can look at and be like, might play three of these guys again. Like, might just go back to three.
Gordon, Russell Westbrook, and Christian Brown was out of that game too, right?
He was, which he is also listed questionable. And the interesting part was he was listed probable, if you remember, going into that one, which I found incredibly interesting, that he was probable to out in the matter of a blink of an eye. We were doing doing the draft, and we were like, oh, Christian Brown's not playing us. What? He was definitely expecting.
As you mentioned, this Champagne, he only played 19 minutes.
This
Justin.
What do we got? Justin nailed it. Yeah, nailed it.
I got it. Only 19 minutes though, after cooking 2 games prior. So if he starts, we're in. If he doesn't, we're out. That's just the way we have. It's the way we have to go.
Yeah.
Again, Nesmith at 53, I would play. Another huge game for him the other day. Was not in on the Timberwolves game because they ruled everybody out. If people are out and he is in, I would play. Because again, good offensive player there.
Yes.
Talked Matherin,
Yes,
Aaron Wiggins, obviously. Man has a 40 actual game on his ledger this year. At 30 actual against Portland in that game where I think everybody sat. So, yeah.
Yep, that was the game.
So
that was the one.
You'd play that one. Keldon. Solid. Minutes were good.
Yeah, minutes were 10 shots, a little disappointing. I like Keldon to be a little higher, but no problem. Absolutely no problem.
Justin Edwards is here. Yeah,
he was really good the other day.
Anything else small forward?
Yeah, I mean, look, if Denver rules all these guys out, Peyton Watson looks great. He played 35 minutes. He is super elite defensively. He'll probably guard Luka in this game
too, right? No,
he wasn't great, but he was also min salary. Or 25 fantasy points at 3K, so he was great. But the minutes weren't great because they played Peyton Watson, Gordon, MPJ, Westbrook, all the minutes, and then they were playing like Spencer Jones. They were playing what's his name, Vlatko Kankar. Yeah. Remember they played he played like the final 15 minutes of the game. So Vlatko would be another option. I don't even know what position he is, but he is a power forward center. He played the final 15 minutes. So, all this Denver stuff is super interesting if guys are out again, but Peyton Watson 42 looks great. Talk Champagny. Jarice Walker is listed questionable here, John. That could be another blow for Indiana. 35 minutes in that game, potentially not there. Ryan Dunn, I asked you and told you if Ryan Dunn were to take that many shots again, then he is just too cheap. And he did it again. And on a slate where he didn't get steals and blocks, it's just so good to see him still being that productive, right? If he's going to be that productive in terms of volume, then Ryan Dunn is firmly in play going up against the Bulls. So I really like that one too. Did you see Matisse Thybulle's back? Did you see he did Matisse Thybulle things? He had 5 steals and a block.
Yeah. What was his thing there? He was upset, he wasn't all rookie team or something like that. A couple years when he was in Philadelphia, there was something where he was him and his agent were upset about. Maybe he wasn't on the futures team at the All-Star game or something like that. Do you remember that whole?
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Good. Good for him. I'm happy that he's still 4 for 9 shooting. Never could shoot the basketball. So
I got one more for you. It's gross, but we just got to talk about it. It's where we are. Jalen Martin, it's $3,400 for Washington. He played 28 minutes in that Portland game. 11 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. 28 minutes. He's a 2-way contract player, and Washington basically just ruled everyone out. So at $3,400, if that's what we're doing with Washington, because they're just not playing people, then
yeah. 9 o'clock.
It just kind of is. What it is, right?
Build some late pivots to be able to get these guys in, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like that won't be a problem. I feel like
power forward. Banchero at 97 versus Houston, which at this point, I guess anything's possible against Houston. This guy is back to being the pre-injury version of himself. Took long enough. Killed the best ball team of mine.
It did.
But, good to see. I don't know if you'd pay it against Houston here, given the slate in that matchup. But there, Durant's 91 versus Chicago. Could have a Mobley versus Sacramento by himself here if they rule out Mitchell and things and players. Those could have.
He also
could
He also is live to sit with the foot.
There is Triple J if you want to tempt fate. You can do that. PJ Washington 78.
Dude, he was so
Came back,
good
played
the
right
other
away.
day.
Like you said, like we said, you know.
So I played him on the day slate, and I was watching this game, and they're talking on the broadcast that he's on a limit. I was like, oh no. And he played like 12 first half minutes. By my calculations, that means he played 20 in the second half. Didn't sit. So, yeah, just play
29 and 12.
Washington at full capacity
against an Indiana team that may not be at full capacity. Also, we'll have a solo Chet Holmgren here.
Also, a team not at full capacity.
So definitely could have a ceiling. $7,600, really good price. Would you play Laurie?
I'm probably not going to play much Utah until that franchise is blown up and out of the league. And their players are playing for other franchises. And they don't exist in the NBA, and that would be the best.
No Walker Kessler, though.
Yeah, we're gonna play Filipowski. I will not play any of their main guys. I will play their young guys, because if there is one thing that's been consistent, at least they are playing. Like the young players are playing. Keontae George is playing. Isaiah Collier is playing. Walker Kessler / Filipowski, whoever's the starter, is playing. Anything else, I'm okay with just like letting me lose to. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Started at center against Golden State at 38 actual points there.
He did. Both those things are true.
No Joker. Lakers front court not much better than what he just faced. So actually significantly worse than what he just faced. So.
Also, like, I personally will not be assuming Aaron Gordon will score 38.
But when you have a guy like Westbrook with like 15 assists, you know.
Correct. Also, like Aaron Gordon just having a great year. Aaron Gordon also shooting 46% from three, which is something that never, ever.
I'm a long-time Aaron Gordon hater, if you remember. So
you are a long-time Aaron Gordon.
The numbers are the numbers; they just convert you there. Kelly O.
Yeah, depends if that game stays close.
Ricky
but
Council.
It's the only way. We just play Obi here if there's no Siakam.
45 minutes. It's the game-winning three. Goes for 57 fantasy points.
Yeah. So Siakam's his personal reasons. So like that is always the one that like we have no idea any like Indiana plays. I think I heard it's 5 games in 7 nights, and that was part of the reason why they rested people on Monday. Siakam has personal reasons, right? So if he's not playing, I mean, Obi Toppin he's gonna start. After we saw what he just did, they'll start Obi Toppin here. If Obi Toppin's in the starting lineup, I'm firing up Obi Toppin. I don't care if he's 7K. That man is a fantasy point per minute monster.
Anything else on here? 43 minutes.
He started at center. And I believe they already ruled out Adembona again. They also already ruled out Drummond. We just have to worry about Yabusele. Then O'Shea Brissett is going to play boatloads and boatloads of minutes. As long as his 10-day hasn't run out. Has his 10-day run out yet? How many days has he been on this team?
I don't know.
He signed March 14th, so we're still good.
Yeah, we're good. Anything else?
Wow, Watson we talked about. Brissett we talked about. Chris Murray played 36 minutes and had 30 fantasy points. If you want to play Chris Murray, he's 4,300. I mean, Kankar played 24 minutes. If Denver's down a bunch of guys, we talked Ryan Dunn. They've been playing Mamu a little bit more, but not enough to matter.
Laravia?
Maybe if they go small, maybe.
All right, we don't need to go too deep into it here.
Yeah.
Center. Joker's 12-9 against the Lakers. Obviously, went for 76 fantasy points last time out. Went for 50 in that Lakers game where we thought they were just going to run over them.
They doubled them, and they doubled them every time down.
So you tell me, do you pay for Joker, or as you mentioned earlier, I feel like you're going to be talking yourself into a lot of Karl Anthony Towns here.
You can definitely play Jokic every slate if he plays, but I do like Towns quite a bit. He hasn't necessarily been someone like I think the ankle might still be bothering him a little bit, or the knee, whatever he hurt in that Boston game. But he obviously looks a little better. He had a 15-0 run himself in this Miami game, and I think the best thing that's happened to Karl Anthony Towns recently is that he hasn't had to play a lot. 3 of the last 4 games, he's only had to play 30 minutes or 31 minutes. So, yeah, I really like Karl Anthony Towns here.
You've said it time and time again that they are the bottom team in the league defensively since Wemby's gone. So
yeah, I'm not trying to like talk myself out of it or anything. I'm also just being realistic about how Towns has looked lately with that knee injury, but he's obviously starting to look better and better over the last couple games.
Sure. What's your next center play? Valanciunas?
I mean, yeah.
I don't think they can take him off the floor here in this matchup if those guys play, right? They've been taking him off for like Lyles and small ball lineups because he can't play defense. But I don't know. Do they stand a better shot with Valanciunas on the floor versus Cleveland running a double big if those guys play versus playing small ball without him? Like, what do you think here?
It also could be a scenario where, like, if they put Valanciunas in like these actions, and now Valanciunas is like switched against Donovan Mitchell or switched against Darius Garland. I mean, he's barbecue chicken. He stands no chance.
Anyways, but the 3 games basically where they sat him out, Memphis, Phoenix, Golden State, they all have the ability to play a small lineup.
Yes. It's solid. I'm
just thinking like he can't play small versus Cleveland if Cleveland's got Allen and Mobley out there.
You would think.
I would think.
You would think.
It's such a tournament play, though. It's like a 1 of 20 lineup play because if he plays 12 minutes at $7,400, you're cooked. So
you're cooked like a Christmas ham. You have no chance at
no shot. Especially when like Chet's there, PJ's there.
Yep.
Jaren Allen, Vuk, Duran.
Hartenstein, if he plays, coming off the game.
Miles Turner not on the injury report, by the way.
Miles Turner not on the injury report. So he is the one pacer not on the injury report.
I would play Miles Turner. A solo Miles Turner versus Dallas.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it. The numbers don't look great without Halliburton this year. I will say that.
What was the Pelicans matchup? Is Minnesota? Yeah, you've talked all day about paint points for Pelicans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Gobert's gonna be the one scoring them, but he might. Sure. How about this? Kyle Filipowski 62 or Rudy Gobert at 59?
Filipowski.
Donovan Clingan 58. Oof. Or Rudy Gobert 59. Because Clingan also another guy who didn't get extended because of the blowout. They just didn't care to play.
The minutes have been good. He's such a zero. They're kind of the same player. Gobert might have better offensive upside, which is very few centers can be said about that. But I don't know. Actually, that one's tough.
It was a tough one, right?
You have a lean on you like Clingan more than Gobert there?
I actually probably go Gobert in that spot. Okay. I feel better that Gobert would not get taken off the floor. he obviously got ejected last game. So like kind of not fair to like look at his last couple games. He got ejected. They won by 26. Edwards had 90,000 points in the game that like, so, and I'm not saying that's not possible here.
You think Kai Jones is back this game?
I do. And I think back and starting, baby. Right back and better than ever.
34 minutes in the one game he started. Really good.
I think he's literally back and playing immediately.
You can only, 7 p.m. we'll know if he's in that starting lineup or not.
He is their third two-way player.
He's their only real center on the team. So
he is definitively their only center on the team.
Right.
Kessler Edwards is a 6'7", has been a wing his whole life, and he's like forced into doing what he's doing. So like I would guess also it's a quad injury. I don't know what the limitations would be. I also don't know how severe, like the severity. Is it something that they were like, oh, we need to extend your game, so like you're gonna take the hit for played 34 minutes and had a quad injury? When? You know, so yeah, I mean, if he's in the lineup starting and we find there's like no limitations, I would go there.
Jackson Hayes, another one, just came back and they've just been playing a lot of minutes because they have to. Because they, again, only real center on their team. So it's a Denver spot. You're not going to be his easiest matchup, but it's easier if there's no Joker at 5K for Jackson Hayes. Sohan's been good again.
Yep.
Points wise, pretty solid. 4,800.
I like both the guys you just mentioned.
And then I don't know. I guess would the Big J play if there's no hard sign?
Maybe. We've also it's very they're the worst to predict.
He triple doubled in that game. Everybody said
he did triple double. They're very hard to get a pulse on in terms of like who's going to play and who's not. Obviously, if you were to play, it'd be like an interesting spot.
Mm-hmm.
Iguodaro, he's not the best per minute, but the minutes, I mean, they're like, hey guys, like, let's play our young guys. They're pretty good. And then they're in like nothing. They're just competitive in all the games that he plays in. So,
agreed. Anything else?
No.
I mean, if you think Lyles gets the run,
I don't know if we needed to. Like, I would rather play if Hartenstein gets rolled out, like Kenrich Williams, $3,200. Because I think Kenrich Williams would start.
Okay.
They've started him on multiple games lately. Now, he hasn't been the best per minute, but we've seen Kenrich Williams make a bunch of threes.
Agreed. All right, let's figure out how we can build a lineup here because we gushed over the top half of this shooting guard position. We can play two of them, point guard, shooting guard.
We can.
Also,
Washington, clearly too cheap. Like AJ Johnson.
Yeah.
And just like anybody that is wearing a Washington jersey. Like we didn't even mention Alex Sarr, 64. But he had 37 fantasy points in 22 minutes the other day. All this Washington stuff, like they're going to be... They played Vucevic. We didn't talk about him either, John. They played Vucevic 24 minutes off the bench. He had another 37 fantasy points. Like AJ Johnson, Jalen Martin, like these guys are really cheap. They actually played Vucevic over Rashawn Holmes as the backup, by the way.
Which at this point they should, right? Like you know what Rashawn Holmes is. Like...
They should. I don't disagree. I'm just saying like Washington to me is probably the team that provides us the easiest path to whatever we want.
Well, what is it that we want?
Whatever. Washington provides it.
What's the number one? What's your spend up? Are we sort of fair and balancing? Are we spending up on a Joker, Towns, Luka? Like,
I really like Towns if we're gonna spend up, and if we don't want to, we can live in that like. And
dude, I'm with you. I'm with you on playing Towns here. So
well, I think like you could do Towns, Edwards, Towns, Reeves, Towns, Booker,
Well,
Towns,
that's what
Bane.
I'm
Like
saying.
that.
Like, let's get our value plugged in. Where we can fit them, because the problem is, it also seems like a lot of these guys are guards too. So
Play Jalen Martin, who's a small forward. I'm telling you, he's going to play.
okay,
Like they're down so many guys. He played 28 minutes last game. He's
you
going to play.
play Julian Champagny.
I was going to say Ryan Dunn or Julian Champagny, one of
Actually, I like
those two.
the Dunn play better. Dunn.
And he has now power forward eligibility, which is a new thing too.
Okay, so that's 74. All right, so let's get
Ant, Bane, Reeves, like any Booker, any 4 of those plays are great.
Reeves.
I think Edwards, but like that game could blow out like mighty fast against New Orleans, but you could literally just do all 3 of them. I mean, it's
no, we're out of money if we do that. But
no, I'm saying you played Bane too, is what I'm saying. Like you played.
I played Bane I played Bane and Reeves, and that gives us 5,600 to play,
which is still a stupid amount.
I mean, if you thought Vucevic would keep getting those minutes, that's a $7,500 forward.
I mean, I think he's getting the minutes. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be what it was, but he is clearly the backup behind Alex Sarr.
Just something stupid like that, or even just there was probably a 43 plus value play that we talked about.
Yeah, and we don't even know.
Isaiah Joe. Yeah, we didn't even have like Thunder.
Yeah,
right?
no Thunder. Yeah.
Just an example lineup. We got Reeves, Bane, Towns.
We don't have Chet. Like we don't have Chet.
We don't have
like we don't have like anything that we probably want.
I agree.
Because it's hard. It's also I shouldn't say that, but it's just
you're going
hard to
superstars and scrubs. So like I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, if we really like Towns, but if you think Chet has just as much upside as Towns, which he probably does, right? Like in this spot.
Boy, this slate is. Oh boy.
Where's Chet? Chet is 76. Now you have $2,300. I get rid of OG, give you $9,300, $9,200. Play Durant. Something like you can.
Durant.
Yeah. Now we have Durant, Holmgren, Bane, and Reeves in the same lineup, right? Like,
seems fair.
Yeah. I mean, again, I just hit Durant. I don't even know if that's like the right play or not, but.
If I could get to Ant and 93, I would love to get to Ant, but I don't.
I think we can get there. 94 Ant, $4,200 forward. You can tell me we can't find a $4,200 forward somewhere. Peyton Watson, O'Shea Brissett, Bruce Brown, like
yeah.
Julian Champagny's 38.
Yeah, there you go. We're back. Yeah,
right. Like $400 left over. Like we got Edwards, Bane, Holmgren, Reeves. Surrounded by value.
Crazy.
Three 9K guys, a 7K guy that could be a 9K guy because everybody's out. Value. Stars and scrubs, ladies and gentlemen. It's what's going to be on this slate. Grande has the playbook. Congratulations. We'll be live at 5 to break it all down. Hopefully, we'll have some more injury news or not more news, clarity. I don't need more guys being ruled out, but like injury clarity would be cool. And we can get maybe a better lineup for y'all built at 5 p.m. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you later.